UFC Washington D.C. We have Jairzinho Rosencheck versus Alistair Overeem. So that's the first fight that we're going to look at. So Overeem is obviously a legend of the sport. He's been around for a while. I think Chuck Liddell beat him in that first round of that Pride tournament where Uncle Dana took Chuck Liddell over to Japan to prove the UFC's dominance when Pride was the original big MMA company here. There's one glaring thing that some people may not know because Jairzinho knocks everyone out with a jab. Everyone looks at his power, but he can't wrestle and he can't do any of the jiu-jitsu at all. Consider Alistair Overeem, Damian Maia for this fight because none. Junior Albini, the guy who wore the diaper for his UFC shorts, just did anything he wanted to him on the ground. This guy cannot. If he's on the ground, it's like a white belt versus Alistair Overeem. Alistair Overeem is obviously been around for a long time, and what comes with being around and being successful for a long time is he is good everywhere. Alistair Overeem, especially that Muay Thai clinch, absolutely is aware of the fact that this Jairzinho guy cannot do any of the wrestling or cannot do any of the jiu-jitsu. I think Alistair Overeem is going to win this, is going to take him down and win this fight by submission. Now, there is also a withering chin situation for Alistair Overeem, but I think people are making a meal out of that. He's not going to get hit once and all of a sudden just the fight's over because Alistair Overeem is a significant step up in competition for this Jairzinho. Now go back, you can look in 2008, I think it was in Rizin in Japan. He's fought Sergey Kovalev, I think his name was. He showed up to the ring like a greased up pig, and the Japanese refs had to towel him off because he can't wrestle. So this is not a new thing, but if you are thinking about predicting Jairzinho to win this fight, go watch that Sergey Kovalev fight and tell me what you like about this Jairzinho guy. I think a lot of people are going to bet as the fight comes around. A lot of people are going to start betting in this Jairzinho guy because he knocks everyone out with a jab. I got a buddy who's a casual fan. He's like, "Who's this Jairzinho guy?" It's smoke and mirrors. Santa Claus isn't real. Remember Eddie Alvarez said that. You're going to see Alistair Overeem submit Jairzinho tonight because he can't do any of the wrestling or any of the jiu-jitsu. All right, next fight we got Cynthia Calvillo versus Marina Rodriguez. Now, this Marina Rodriguez fought Tisha Torres in the last fight, and it was a very similar fight. And Tisha Torres is a little smaller, but Marina Rodriguez just showed that she's good in the clinch. She's hard to take down, and she will hurt you with her Muay Thai. She's a high-level Muay Thai practitioner, and but she's also terrible on the ground. From what I've seen, it's possible she got better. She lives in Brazil. You can't live in Brazil. We play basketball in America. They do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as kids. It's very possible she got better at Jiu-Jitsu. But the key for this fight is for Cynthia Calvillo to take her down. Now, the problem is Cynthia is not a remarkable wrestler. A lot of times you'll see her at the end of rounds do that little gimmick not gimmick, but it's a very effective cheat code. Where you shoot for a takedown, and now it's like a close round. It's like, oh, you landed on top. You win the round. But she's not a remarkable wrestler. One aspect of this fight that could work in her favor, because the key for Cynthia is to get this fight in the ground. Marina Rodriguez uses those teep kicks to keep distance. She doesn't necessarily, I don't remember, again, I wrote a blog. I'll put the link. But I don't remember if you want more. I went more in depth about these fights. Marina Rodriguez, I do not remember using a jab to keep distance. She does a lot of teep kicks. And Cynthia Calvillo, being not a tremendous, remarkable wrestler, it's possible for her to catch one of those teep kicks and take her down from there. Because if she gets this fight in the ground, she is a threat to end it, given the difference in these two women's ground games. But Cynthia Calvillo, I believe, has spent the last couple of years in Thailand learning Muay Thai. So she has the lesser reach, will be the smaller woman, even though she missed weight by 5 pounds today. She will have the smaller reach, and I don't think she's going to win a Muay Thai battle kickboxing match with Marina Rodriguez. She's going to need to take her down, and I don't think she's going to do it, even with the weight cut. She's missed weight. She has a problem making weight, so she's a little chunky for 215 or 115 pounds. But I honestly, I don't even know if that's an advantage or disadvantage. I don't know. But she missed weight. She's not a remarkable wrestler. She's going to need to take the fight to the ground and by catching a teep kick. Can she do it? She's a threat to finish the fight for sure. But if this fight stays standing, Marina Rodriguez uses her Muay Thai and beats her every single time. Ben Rothwell, Stefan Struve. So this is kind of a silly fight. I think the UFC is actually marketing it, but just how big these people are. Ben Rothwell goes pot for steroids and hasn't looked the same. He kind of cocks his head, like looks weird. He looks like a monster walking you down. And he used to have a lot of power in his hands. He still does. He's very good at jiu-jitsu, but it seems like his back's all messed up and he's like old and hurt. If he can take this, Stefan Struve has terrible takedown defense. But I really am questioning whether or not Ben Rothwell can put a singlet on and take him down. I kind of think because after USADA, he's been very hesitant with his striking after he got popped with steroids. I kind of think that might be his actual game plan. But honestly, I have no idea. If Stefan Struve has a hole in his heart, he broke his jaw, and once you break your jaw, you lose your chin. So he's not exactly going to take a lot of punches in this fight. If he gets caught, he will get caught. He did an interview saying the paychecks are good in the UFC because he retired last fight. Stefan Struve, I watched the fight in the Netherlands. He retired. He beat some guy I don't know, and then he retired, and all of a sudden he's coming back. So apparently that's a thing. But he has a serious problem because he's 7 feet tall. When you're 7 feet tall, you cannot coordinate your limbs to have a good relationship with gravity, just because it's not natural. It's horrible takedown defense. I think everyone takes him down. If Ben Rothwell takes him down, Struve's limbs on the ground are a threat to submit you from both the top and bottom positions. But Ben Rothwell is also a high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner, and I can see Ben Rothwell winning rounds on the ground. I don't necessarily think he's going to choke him out or put him in a submission, but that's also taxing to Ben Rothwell's cardio. Again, if you are trying to pick who's going to win this fight, good luck. I mean, one guy has a hole in his heart. He broke his jaw, and he retired last fight. And Ben Rothwell hasn't looked the same since he got, I think it was testosterone. But I don't know. If I were to, on tape, Ben Rothwell has all the skills to take this guy down and make it a hard fight for Stefan Struve to fight off the bottom for 3 rounds. So push comes to shove, I'll take Ben Rothwell. And the other thing about Ben Rothwell is when I looked at his fights, he just loves fighting. Like, I think you might have like 2 different sides of addiction here. Like, Ben Rothwell loves fighting. He opened up a gym, he teaches, and he just loves it. He wants to come back. Stefan Struve seems like he can't let it go. So you might have 2 different polarizing aspects of you hear this all the time, guys addicted to the lifestyle. I'm taking Ben Rothwell in this fight. Stefan Struve just doesn't really appeal to me. Now, Aspen Ladd versus Yana Kunitskaya. So Aspen Ladd was knocked out by Germaine de Randamie in her last fight, and she's not a good striker. She's a willing combatant, which is a problem for her. In the Sijara Eubanks fight, she was a willing striker on the feet, just getting into brawls, and that's not where her skill set is. Her skill set is to take you down and to find that top position, and she is heavy at that top position. She's also missed weight last time. She didn't miss weight, but she looked horrible. But anyways, her skill set is heavy, top position, top game. Find the fight to the ground. Get the fight to the ground. Heavy top position. But I don't really see where she's skilled anywhere else, to be honest with you. I saw her fight in Rochester, that Eubanks fight. And I don't see it. I don't see Yana Kunitskaya is another grappler. She fought Cyborg for a UFC debut. Good luck with that. Um, she has a lot of striking defense weaknesses for sure. Um, but she is a physically imposing woman. She's a lot taller than Aspen Ladd. And her grappling is physically she's I don't basically what I'm trying to say is I don't think Aspen Ladd's going to outbody this woman. How is Aspen Ladd going to take her down? The one area where I think she can take her down is to shoot a double leg. To engage her in the striking a little bit because Yana isn't a great striker and Yana doesn't carry power. If you think Yana's going to win this fight, bet the decision because Yana doesn't carry power. But I'm nervous that Aspen Ladd can shoot a double leg and find the top position from that because I don't believe Yana hasn't showed a high level a ground game that can compete with Aspen Ladd's top position. So if she gets a double, this fight very well may end in submission. But I'm taking Yana. Kunitskaya here, the girl from St. Petersburg, to win a decision because I just don't think Aspen Ladd's gonna out clinch this woman. There's gonna be a lot of clinching against the fence. They had that similar opponent, the Swedish girl, Lena Landsberg. Lena Landsberg pushed Aspen Ladd up against the fence to begin that fight. Yana Kunitskaya was more physical for Lena Landsberg. I'm taking Yana Kunitskaya here. I don't hate that pick. She's a pretty decent underdog too. If you're looking to get cute, bet the decision. Song Yadong versus Cody Stamann. Song Yadong left his family at 9 years old to go train with the Shaolin monks. That's like I was in disbelief when I was reading this story. So if anyone else is like a fan of Mortal Kombat, he's basically Liu Kang. And he fights. His hands are spectacular. His hands are quick. His striking is fantastic. This guy is so impressive. When you watch him fight, he's just so impressive. Usually, I like to see a guy lose, like that Nazim Haparast. I was really impressed with, but I saw him lose, and I saw how impressive he was in that loss. I haven't seen Song Yadong lose in the UFC, and there is something to be said that this is a step up in competition with Cody Stamann. But everything about this Song Yadong guy is fantastic. His hands he has power. His last UFC fight ended in like 4 seconds because he knocked this guy out. This kid's good. There's one question about him with his wrestling. Now he's at Team Alpha Male. So I guess if you were to do a bio of Song Yadong, so like the Shaolin monks trained him, and then he went to Team Alpha Male. So like maybe Uriah Faber got together with like the leader of the Shaolin monks to discuss his training regimen. I don't know. I like to think that happened. So anyways, Cody Stamann is he doesn't have much reach. He's a wrestler. He's very good at taking you down. He's not very good at holding you holding you down. I don't know if that's a strategy. Like if the judges look at like, oh, he's got 4 takedowns in 1 round, like it wouldn't make sense to me. Like stay on top of the guy and throw some elbows. That would, So there is a question of can Cody Stamann take Song Yadong to the ground? Now, once he left the Shaolin monks, he's at Team Alpha Male. Those are supposed to be wrestlers. I'm kind of thinking that these wrestlers you got to work with Song Yadong here. He's got to have decent takedown defense. I think Song's going to win a 2-1 decision here. I think people are getting real hyped up about his striking, and rightfully so. But I think Cody Stamann can stay out of range. He's going to go around the perimeter. It's not going to look good on a judge's scorecard unless he can find that takedown. I kind of think we're going to see 3 rounds of Song Yadong in this fight, and he's going to win decision over Cody Stamann. All right. Now, Rob Font versus Ricky Simon. So Rob Font is a boxer, and Ricky Simon is a wrestler, a relentless wrestler. Ricky Simon was knocked out by Uriah Faber as a big favorite, and I think he was probably in Sacramento. That's not an accident. Ricky Simon gets hit a lot. He gets hit and hurt in basically every one of his fights. I think his UFC debut, he was like unbelievably rocked. But I think it was the UFC debut where he choked a guy out after being like exceptionally exhausted, and he held him there in that guillotine position for like, I don't know, it's like a minute or something. Like, this guy does not quit, and I like that in this fight. I think Rob Font does not have a high wrestling pedigree. There is a very real chance Rob Font connects a right hand on Ricky Simon's face today, because Ricky Simon gets hurt with a right hand in every single one of his fights, but he will not quit. If you're picking Ricky Simon to win this fight, he absolutely will not quit. And if you're like betting on a guy, that's kind of a guy who you want to bet on, a guy who's not going to quit. So you don't have to watch 2 rounds of like, oh, this guy's terrible, and then I got to watch 2 more rounds of him getting washed out. Ricky Simon is relentless, and I think he's going to impose his wrestling in this fight. Like, Rob Font may connect, he may knock him out. I don't know. He may hurt him in this fight, but I like Ricky Simon winning a 2-1 decision in this fight. All right, Buck Mitchell versus Matt Sales. So I call him Buck Mitchell because apparently he missed a napping doe. He missed a napping deer with a crossbow 3 times. He ran out of arrows, jumped down from his tree stand, and choked the deer out. I don't know, man. This is the Arkansas kid, and he fights out of Arkansas. If he wins the fight, you'll hear him say Arkansas, Arkansas, Arkansas. He also had an unfortunate power incident with a power drill. That was something that happened. He's fighting Matt Sales. Matt Sales' UFC debut. He fights out of was it Elevation? Is that Dominic Cruz's gym? Dominic Cruz is in his quarter for his UFC debut, and he looked really good in his loss to Shaman Marias. Then he fought Kyle Nelson in Canada, and Dominic Cruz didn't make that trip. Dominic Cruz doesn't deal with losers, apparently. He was out of the corner. But the kid had really good cardio. I really liked his UFC debut. And he was taking it to Shaman Marias. He was winning the 3rd round, and I really liked him. But he looked like crap in Canada. Kyle Nelson almost choked him out. And I was like ready to really like, the Matt Sales is going to keep this fight on the feet. But then, like, in the 2nd round, a gassed Kyle Nelson just, like, crawls to the back of him and, like, puts a palm-to-palm grip, and I thought the fight was over. And that's nothing you want to see with facing against Buck Mitchell. Buck Mitchell is a jiu-jitsu guy. Now, when he wrestles with wrestlers who want to take him down, he's a pretty good wrestler. But my concern originally with this fight is Matt Sales is also a wrestler, and Matt Sales doesn't want to take him down. Matt Sales wants to stand and strike. And I don't think Buck Mitchell here has the ability to take a wrestler down when that wrestler, a good wrestler. I don't think Buck Mitchell has the ability to take this fight to the ground. I don't know, though. But there's also, like we talked about with the Marina Rodriguez fight, there's alternative means of creating scrambling situations. This is going to be an entertaining fight. I really liked Matt Sales until I saw that Kyle Nelson fight, and then I'm out. His cardio looked awful. I don't know. Maybe Dominic Cruz just disowned him, and he no, Dominic Cruz doesn't deal with losers. But one thing I still kind of think is true is that Bryce Mitchell or Buck Mitchell here is not going to be able to take Matt Sales down and engage in these scrambles that he has in his past 2 fights. He fought that Tyler Diamond kid. Tyler Diamond's a wrestler. That is his game plan. He's not going to stand and strike with you. Then he fought Matt Favola. I don't think it was Matt Favola, but he fought another wrestler in his UFC in like his most recent fight, who's also a wrestler that engaged those scrambling positions. But I don't think Sales is going to do that, and Sales has the wrestling to keep this fight in the feet. And Bryce Mitchell, to credit to him, he will throw whatever he wants because he doesn't care about being taken down, because he is a jiu-jitsu wizard. He is very good. So this is going to be an entertaining fight. You're going to have Buck Mitchell throwing some wild kicks, throwing some wild punches, and you're going to have Matt Sales. That's the game he wants to throw in that right hand. He's a right hand dominant guy, and this might be the fight of the night. Push come to shove, I'm going with the guy who choked out the deer every single time.